You know, I've got to be the single ugliest guy in the history of the internet to dare to put his face on a webcam video, but I just wanted to sound off about what happened today and what happens every day in other cases, just for a few minutes, and thanks for listening. Let me get this off my heart. It, what happened in Newtown, Connecticut today, middle of December, is an unspeakable tragedy for a lot of reasons. We're going to be hurting more about this one than because some of the children were only 5 years old, and the man shot his mother down first, and then it's just, we're not going to forget this one. We're not getting up off the floor that easy from this one. This is bad news. This is bad McCumble. And at some point people have to start caring enough to say, let's do something about it. And why do we say, let's do something about it? Because this fellow, Mr. Lanza, was a 20-year-old guy. He got up this morning, had some bug up his butt, walked into his living room and shot the life out of the woman that was sitting there. Well, that was a crime. But prior to that, he woke up, he took 4 handguns, 4 of them, and he loaded them, each 9mm handgun with 16 rounds of bullets each, and he loaded them up, put them in his jacket, got in a car, drove to Newtown, walked into the elementary school, walked over to his mother's classroom, and right before he shot her, up till that moment, he hadn't committed a crime. We're going to have to talk about the Second Amendment thing at some point. We're going to have to talk because people are going to have to start caring that it's got to stop. It's, at some point you just say, what is it actually accomplishing anymore? What are we getting out of it? The citizen militia has to be able to protect its country from its government. Well, you know what? If it came down to citizen militias and everybody in the citizen militias walking around the country with a bunch of handguns, let me tell you, if they send in the U.S. military, they got drones, they've got big bombs, and they got much more powerful guns. The Second Amendment isn't going to prevent any government of the United States from doing whatever the heck it pleases to do. And you know it. Nobody needs to have a gun right now. Not a handgun, no. If you need a rifle, go and shoot some bear, like Sarah Palin, get in a helicopter, find some wounded wolf and shoot the life out of it and just leave it there to... whatever. I'm trying to stay on point. But you see my point. Somebody needs to care and say, let's put all this other baloney aside about, you're not going to tell me what to do. Put it aside for a minute and just start caring about what's happening to people. People who just, packing their lunch bags, Mama put the cookie and the apple and the sandwich in the bag, and that was that child's last meal today. Or how about the people who just went to a movie theater to watch a movie? That was the last thing they ever did. What about that gal and went to work at a Starbucks, doing her job on camera? You can see her doing a fine job. And some psychopath with a gun. There's a lot of tragedies in this country that can be easily remedied, and one of the remedies is go get the guns. Go take the guns back. Take all the handguns back. That's one remedy. And that'll solve that one big problem. Because it's not just about what happened in Newtown, it's about what happens every day all across this country, and in Harlem and Brooklyn and in Chicago and in Detroit and in Atlanta and Los Angeles. Let me tell you, Sun goes down around here. Put a flak jacket on when you go to walk the dog after dark. It can be done, but people are going to have to seriously start talking about why and how they're going to get it done to eliminate this threat. You look at the European, if you take the combined European Union and the countries that do not allow the citizens to carry handguns. I mean, in England, even most of the police don't carry handguns either. And you know how many shooting deaths they have per year? All total throughout the same number of people live in the European Union. In fact, 150 million more live in the European Union than live in all of the United States and Canada. Guess how many people die per year from handgun murders? Less than 100. But in the United States, it's about 40 or 50,000. It's like filling up Dodger Stadium and shooting everybody in it to death. And we do that every year, right here in our home country. And we gotta care. That's one thing we need to talk about. We need to get that out. And the other thing, I'm telling you, if we don't see all humankind as part of the same family of humanity, we're not going to be the kind of people that God's going to be ultimately all that happy with. And what I'm talking about is the fact that every morning when I wake up, the first thought that comes into my head is that last night 39,000 children around the world died. Children. They died of starvation. Little skeletons who would have choked even if they'd had a crust of bread. They died for lack of the same food that restaurants throw out billions of pounds of it each year, that people rot in their refrigerators and their cupboards. They died from a lack of that and fresh water. Can we do anything about it? I think we can if we just start talking about it. Start caring about it. You've got to care. Humankind has got to care about this. There's this poem by John Donne. You remember John Donne, of course, wrote in the 1600s. He was a contemporary of William Shakespeare, but he wrote a lot of his spiritual thoughts and meditations down, and there was this one particular one that caught everybody's attention and got turned into a poem. And then Ernest Hemingway came along in the early 1900s and turned it into a classic book, For Whom the Bell Tolls, mostly about the Spanish Civil War. But John Donne's poem was the driving impetus behind that. I'm going to just share it with you right now. And after you hear this, that'll be it. I won't say another word. You just think about it. Think that we are all of us are part of and we have to care. No man is an island entire of itself. Each is a piece of the continent upon the main. If a cloud of dirt be washed away by the sea, Europe is diminished. Europe is the less. As well as if a promontory were, as well as if a manor of thine own, or a manor of thine own friends were. Each man's death diminishes me, for I am involved with mankind. Therefore, sin not to know for whom the bell tolls. It tolls for thee. Try to get the sense of that. And start caring and start talking about this.